Welcome to Roxtalks, the podcast that helps network marketers grow their business on social media. And social media, how you feeling about social media? Did you have any heart palpitations last week? Were you like, well, today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is how to get off of social media. Not you specifically, I want you to stay on social media, but how to get your people off of social media and onto your list. Now, some of you have heard me talk about this and you're like, yeah, Roxanne, I'll do that one day. And that's all well and good. But then one day came and you've heard me say this. What happens when Facebook and Instagram shut down? What happens when Mark Zuckerberg decides, I'm tired of you guys bothering me? Do you remember this? Like, I should actually go get a recording and play it now, where I say, and I've said over and over again for the last couple of years, what happens when Mark Zuckerberg is tired of everyone bothering him, tired of all the government, whatever. And he says, you know what? I'm just going to shut this down. I'm going off to an island. I'm taking this down. What are you going to do then? Well, what happened on Monday, the 4th of October? Y'all remember? What happened was, magically, Facebook and Instagram went down for 6 hours. Now, that could have been an accident. It was some internal thing they said. It could be an accident. It could be, all sorts of things. It could have been like a hacker, or it could have been that he just was annoyed because there was a whistleblower and there was some bad juju going on. He was getting outed on something. Could be that. I don't know. That's not what this podcast is about. The podcast is about what you're going to do about it. Because for 6 hours on Monday, there were network marketers just like you freaking out, going, I don't know what to do with my business. I don't know how to contact my people. I'm trying to post. It's not working. What am I doing wrong? Over and over again. I got so many text messages, DMs, Voxes, Telegrams, you name it, reaching out to me saying, oh my goodness, what is happening? What was happening is you and I use a platform to meet people that are in our target market, and we don't own that platform. I am not Mark Zuckerberg. I'm not married to him or any of his family members. And I'm guessing that you're not either. But if you are, thanks for listening. Appreciate you. So what are we going to do about it? What does life look like when you do not control the place where you meet your people? When you don't control that part of your funnel? Well, for some of you, life looks pretty bad because you do not have any funnel past that. For some of you, hopefully, if you've been listening to this podcast now for the last couple of years, you have a plan in place. And I got to tell you, so I was getting those messages, and then I was getting messages from my Social Stories members, because in that membership, we focus completely on building out your social media to get people off of social media and onto your list. And they were like, oh, Instagram, Facebook's down, no problem. Sending out emails today. I got this. Sending out text messages today. Wow, Roxanne. So thankful that you've taught us. You really encouraged us and pushed us to do this, because I'm good. I want you to be in that category and not in the first category. So we're going to talk about that today. That was a long intro, but it had to be said. So we'll be right back with how to get people off of social media and onto your list, so that when things like what happened on October 4th, 2021 happen again, and they will happen again, you are prepared and you're ready to go and you're not sweating it. We'll be right back. Instagram Reels are a great way for you to attract your customers. You know that, but they can really take a long time. And in fact, with Reels, people are doing 3 to 7 a week. That is a lot. And then all the other things, it's a lot. So that's why I created something called an Instagram Reels template. It's an ability for you to put in your information about your product or your business that you want to convey without having to be on camera. You don't have to look all cute. And it's quick and it's easy. Would you like to try an Instagram Reels template? How about a free Instagram Reels template? In fact, that's what I'm offering for you right now. If you go to socialstoriesmembership.com/free reels, you'll get a template and all the how-tos to create. Now, I have to warn you, people who've used this template have gotten some pretty significant views from their actual target market. So if you want that, if you want like thousands of views, I'd say check out the free Reels template today. That's socialstoriesmembership.com/free reels. Okay, I've never been a believer of saying I told you so. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I told you so, but I am going to encourage you to maybe take another look of something I've been talking about for years, which is, y'all, the purpose of Instagram and Facebook is not for you to hang out there forever and a day. It's for you there for you to find your people and move on. Now, I like to liken it to the bar. Do you remember, like in my 20s, and I lived in Austin, Texas. Hello, especially then it was like the place for single people to go. We'd go to the bars all the time. And we would go to the bar and we would meet people and maybe, let them buy you a drink, dance with them, whatever. And if they were worth it at that point, if you felt that connection, then yeah, when they asked for my phone number, I would give them my phone number. And I'm not going to lie, there's somewhere they'd ask my name and I'd make a made up name. My friends would know if I ever said Jackie, that means I was not interested. What's your name? Jackie. But otherwise, you'd give them the phone number. And then what happens? You remember dating. So you hope that he's going to call you or text you. And if he does, you go back and forth. And then lo and behold, you go on a date, an actual date that's not at the bar. Now you may see him at the bar the next weekend. And oftentimes I did. And you might hang out, like if your friends groups might be going out again, you might hang out, but you had this connection outside of the bar. Circa 2021, fast forward to now. When you think about your network marketing business and you think about the fact that you are looking for your ideal person, right, to join you in business, to purchase your products, you're looking for that ideal person who has that problem that you have a solution for. The bar for you, a great place to meet people, is Instagram and Facebook. That's the fact of the matter. But as I said before, Instagram, Facebook, we don't own it. Just like I didn't own the bars on 6th Street. I remember, so 6th Street, I didn't love 6th Street. You probably have heard of 6th Street in Austin. 6th Street, once you get to, I always would say it was for tourists and for underage girls with fake IDs and for guys who wanted to meet underage girls with fake IDs. So we didn't hang out there. We hung out in the warehouse district, and now there's like West 6th. That's where we'd hang out. But I remember and I lived downtown too. So I was like right there in all of it. And what I remember about it, a couple things. I remember that if you were an amateur, you'd only go out on the weekends. But if you were like a local and you were like in it and you lived downtown, you went out a lot, we'd go out on the weekdays. So that on the weekends when we go, we never had to stand in line. The other thing I remember is this: bars would open and close all the time. And they would flip and they'd have a new name and it was like new bar, the ranch, new bar, this, and that would be the bar, 219 West, whatever it may be. But my favorite bars changed because sometimes my favorite bar would shut down and I have to find a new favorite bar, or we would go to the new hot thing. It's the same way with social media. You don't own Instagram. You don't own Facebook. If they want to shut down, they can. If they want to pout for 6 hours, they can. So what does that do for you? Well, I'll tell you this. If I was going to, there'd be people, because I'd go to the bars all the time, that I would only know at the bar. I didn't have their phone numbers. I didn't have their email addresses. I didn't have any way to get a hold of them. So you just hope you see them at the new bar. And times we would, we hope they'd go there, or some of them you never saw again because you didn't have their phone number, their information. It's the same thing, right? Can you relate to that? If you were sitting there, sitting on your thumbs, because maybe you thought on Monday, all right, my new product came out. I'm so excited. I know some of you, Modere, you had a new product that came out this weekend. Or if you were like Rodan and Fields, you had a product that was just launched a few days, to the public a couple days ago. So you're excited, October. Or if you're some of the other companies who have your holiday specials, you're like, yes, I'm going to talk about my holiday special. Monday's coming. I'm going to go for it because holidays are here soon. And then you went to the bar and there's a sign saying, sorry, we're closed for renovation. Sorry, we're closed. Oil spill. Huntington Beach, I'm so sad for you. But seriously, you had this moment. And you thought, oh, well, crap, I was going to reach out to these people on my social media. And somebody said, well, Facebook's not working. Let me go to Instagram. No, that bar's closed too. Or vice versa. You're at the Instagram bar. Oh, it's closed. I'll go to Facebook. No, that bar's closed too. WhatsApp, all closed, all done. And some of you had no access. Now, some of you might be like, well, it was nice to be off social media for a moment. But let's be real. Some of you had that panic attack because you knew that you had started conversations and had community with people and you'd no access. Now, I'll be really honest with you. And I do my business on social media in theory. You think I do, right? I mean, I sat down with my integrator the other day and we were looking at what our biggest funnels are. And I'd say these, and I like to pull back the curtain for you because this does apply to your business as well too. Where do we get most of our new people who come from the podcast, who join Social Stories membership, who join Social Templates Club? Where do those people come from? And we looked, and most of them come from Instagram. Instagram is our number one place to meet new people. Is that your number one bar too? Okay. So you would think that when that happened, I would be freaking out. I didn't freak out at all. None of us freaked out. There was no freaking out that was happening. No freaky deaky. Why? Because I have a list of people. Did that mean that for those 6 hours or for that period of time, on someone's feed out there, I was the only thing they were seeing, right? Like, why won't the top go away? But in general, I wasn't worried about it. Why? Because I know I have a base of thousands of people on my list, thousands and thousands of people on my list that I could talk to. And so when I saw it was down for more than a little bit, I went and sent an email. And you might have gotten that email if you're on my list. And the email was reminding you the importance of having a list. So in these freak out moments, you don't have freak out moments, and showing you and talking to you through that. And we'll talk a little about that right now or in a bit. But do you see, if you don't have a list, and a lot of you are like, Roxanne, I just started. I don't have a list. Roxanne, I don't have a list. Everyone has a list. Number one, you need to know everyone has a list. You have a list. You're just not using it. You're like, no, I don't. I don't have a list. I don't know it. Do you have a client? If you have a client, guess what? You have a list. If you have a former client, guess what? You have a list. If you have someone who's told you they're interested and you've had some connection with them off of social media, guess what? You have a list. If your company has some type of quiz or something where they get email addresses or grabs leads, you know the ones. My Daily Choice, you've got that going on. Rodan and Fields, you have that going on. That's a list where it collects emails. That's a list. Just because you're not using it, you haven't put it in a good place, doesn't mean it's not a list. It's a list. You have a list. So I want everyone to be like, I have a list. I have a former, current, or curious customer, or former, current team members as well too. That's a list. Okay. Now, just because you're not doing anything with the list does not mean you cannot start now. It is never too late. Whether you've been in the business for a day or 10 years, it is never too late. And anyone telling you shouldn't have a list or you shouldn't send emails, you know how I feel about that. That's hogwash. So if you're thinking right now, okay, I get it, Roxanne, but I don't think people want to read my emails, or I don't like reading emails. If you don't like reading emails, I'm going to say this with love, you are not the norm. And that's okay. That's okay. It's good for you to know the difference between you and the norm so that you can still use these great business tools. Costco, Target, the Gap brand, Nordstrom, Fabletics. I can keep going on and on. They would not be sending emails on a regular basis if emails weren't working. These companies don't have time for hula-dooblery. They don't. If it's not working, they wouldn't be spending money on it. Now, you might say, but what about text messages? Text messages is also another way, yes, and it's up and coming, but emails are still dwarfing that. And unless you've got a good plan in place, you got to start somewhere. I recommend you start with emails, right? So please let go of this. People aren't going to read my emails. I don't like emails. Well, they want an email from me, or well, my company sends an email. I've got news for you. An email that comes from you to people you know is going to be read 9 times out of 10 more often than an email that comes from generically from your company. True story. True story. That was a real world reference. Okay. So knowing that, we're going to get past all these things. By the way, I'm wearing this shirt today, Namaste in bed, because, well, Facebook and Instagram decided to stay in bed on Monday. So I felt like it was appropriate. Okay. So you have a list. And maybe you have this list and it's on paper. Maybe you have this list on a spreadsheet. Let's talk about the next step. Y'all, please, pretty please with gumdrops on top. Let me go. Before we talk about what to do with the list, let me also say this. When Facebook and Instagram do decide to wake up and they've woken up and you're with them now, I want you to be thinking about what can I do to get people off of my social media? What can I do to get people to be like, yeah, I want to go on a date with you? Well, that's where a lead generator comes in. And again, this is what I teach in social stories. In social stories, we start from how to make sure your Instagram and Facebook profiles are such that people are attracted to you. You're the people who you want to be attracted, like you guys have that like factor. But then we work through how to develop the credibility with them and then how to get them off of your list, off of social media, and onto your list. That's called creating a funnel. You start big at the bar and then you funnel down. And if ever this sounds confusing or you hear these online business terms and you're like, I don't get it, think back to my bar analogy. It'll get you right back there. Okay, so I meet them at the bar. The bar is Instagram. We'll call it the gram. I met them at the gram. And then we got to talk at the gram. And I commented on their things and they commented on my things. And then we DM'd and I slid into their DMs and I slid back in my DMs. But we're still at the bar. Sliding into DMs is like we're dancing. We're dancing. We're dancing. All right. Now it's time. I want to ask them out. And that's where the lead gen comes in. Because at this point, I have learned a little bit about them and they've learned a little bit about me. So I have an idea of what they might be interested in. Capiche? As a result, I'm going to offer something that's going to help them with whatever they're interested in. And I'm going to offer it to them. And if they decide they want to take it, awesome. They click on a button, takes them to a page. We call that a landing page. Industry-wise, called a landing page where they can, if they would like this thing that I'm offering them on a platter, all they need to do is give me their digits. Translation, email address, and first name. I don't even want the last name, although I probably know it from Instagram. I'm not even asking for all that. They do that. They get on my list. I give them the free thing on the platter they wanted. And now they're on my list that I can cultivate and make happen. Dr. Lisa Anton was on the podcast a couple months ago. And she is a Social Stories member. Social Stories Pro member, mind you. And I was just meeting with her yesterday and I was talking to her because she was hitting goals, that's what she does. She just boom, 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 boom. I said, what would you attribute it to? What did you do last month that helped you hit another goal? She said, honestly, Roxanne, it's all those things you've been saying, I've been implementing and they're working for me. She said, for example, my emails, I've been diligent about them. At first, it was a little bit like, she's like, but I've been diligent about them and they work. And I supply people with quality content and a little bit of sales and it works. She's a great example. Is it going to feel clunky at first? Yes, but it's going to work for you. And she's working on her holiday guide. We talked about that. And she said, working on my holiday guide again. Yeah, I got sales for my holiday guide last time, which is PS, and by the way, is a lead generator as well. And then as an addition to sales, and it works. It's not rocket science. You just have to get out of your head of thinking of, I've got to do it the way my upline said, or I've got to do it the way that my company said, and think about the fact that it's circa 2021. We got to get this done in a specific way. And when you do the steps and you work on that funnel, it works. I promise you. Okay. So you're offering them a lead gen and you're probably like, Roxanne, I don't know what a lead gen is. Well, I just gave you an example. One is a holiday guide. A holiday guide is something you could all be doing right now. And if you need help with a holiday guide, you know this. If you just head over to socialstoriesmembership.com right now, you can get on demand the holiday strategy Slay Your Sales workshop. And part of that, you get a free holiday guide template. You just fill in the details, change your colors, and you have a holiday guide, voila, that you can use and do. That's one way you can get people on your list. Offering a holiday guide of suggestions for holiday gifts, then they're on your list. You always want to be thinking about ways to get people on your list, not because, and if you're thinking, wow, should I? Yeah, because listen, people aren't going to jump on your list if they don't want to be on your list. They're on your list because they like what you have to offer and you're giving them information that and quality things that they're interested in. It's a tit for tat, right? It totally is. But then you have people who are actually interested that you can continue the conversation with if and when, and it is a when, it's not an if, Instagram or Facebook start to act up again. Okay. That is, if you ever wonder, like, what do they do in social stories? Remember, that's what we do. Is I help you, I show you the steps to building your funnel and cultivating it and fine tuning it as Instagram makes its changes and does its things, and Facebook. It's that simple. It really is that simple. So what do you do when you have this list? I told you I was going to talk about that. Well, you don't send emails from your Yahoo or your Gmail account directly. You don't BCC people. And y'all, I see this happening even now with people who are like big in their company, sending BCCs. First of all, that's spam. That is considered spam. And you may be thinking that it's going to your people, but you really don't know. That's one. And you can get reported for that in a big way. Second thing is you have no idea if any of your information is getting to your people. You don't know. You just send it. Like when you send an email to someone from your Gmail, you're like, did you get my email? Like, oh yeah, I got it. Or no, I didn't get it. We don't know. We don't know. You were a business person. You're a CEO of your business, of you. It's time for you to have control over that. This is why I'm a big proponent of FloDesk. I've been celebrating the wonderfulness of FloDesk now for over, almost 2 years. 2 years now. 2 years. Why? Because I've tried different email systems, and yes, it's pretty, which is nice. It's user friendly, which is awesome. And you're capped with so whether you have one person on your list or 1,000 people on your list or 10,000 or 1,000,000, you are already locked in at that amazing price. Now I say price because they just announced recently that their beta time is ending on the 2nd of November, and their price is going to go up. This is important because right now, and I'll give you guys this link, you can join FloDesk. And when you join FloDesk with my code Roxtalks, really easy, Roxtalks, you actually get locked in at $19 for life. Love it. $19 a month for life. Now, if you're thinking $19, let's go back to Dr. Lisa. She's just one example. She sends out an email and she gets sales from that email. So if you're like, I don't know if it's worth it, you can make sales from emails. That's why, what do you think Costco and Walmart and all those other companies are doing? Making sales from the emails. You can make them as well too, as long as you know how to do it. Which PS, and by the way, gosh, y'all, there's a lot of resources in this episode, and they're coming out of my head. It's going. I have a 30-day free challenge, 30-day challenge for emails. I recommend, and I'll put the link on the page, that if you've not done my 30-day email challenge, I recommend you do it. It's not 30 days. I should change it, right? It's not actually 30 days of emails. It's showing you how to set up an email system, and you're really just doing one a week. So it's 4 emails, okay, not 30, but it shows you all the things. Also, the FloDesk, I created years ago now videos that are videos for you, network marketers, on how to use each part of the FloDesk goodness. And so that's also a resource that I have for you to get on it. I recommend that today you go, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to sign up for FloDesk. You do get a free month trial. Now it'll be a little low. I would say sign up for it by the 2nd of November. So it might not be a full month for you because you want to lock in that price, but you do get a trial. So you sign up for FloDesk, you get the trial, and then you're doing the challenge where I'm walking you through how to use it. Now, why do I love FloDesk besides the fact that it's emails and it's pretty and all those things and it's user friendly? I love it, and because the amount of users, people on your list, it doesn't penalize you, or it doesn't change your rate for that. I'm a little confusing right now. I hope that made sense. I also love it because it gives you landing pages. Now, I mentioned a landing page before, and you guys have probably all of you have used one where you go, they ask for your email address and your name, and you give them that information and you get what you want. You're able to customize landing pages on FloDesk. So you don't have to have a website. You don't have to have all the things, and they're pretty. Again, that's nice, but they're user friendly, and you can set them up. So when someone submits their information, they automatically get that information that they wanted, that lead gen from you. And then you can set up a slew of emails that they get for a period of time after that, an automated set. Now, other companies don't allow you to do that automation without charging even more than that. That automation is very important. Why? Because let's face it, we got to think big with you. You do not want to have to be sending out manually an email to someone each day. Let's say you want to send them emails for like 3 or 4 days because about a certain topic that they wanted. You don't want to have to manually do that every time someone registers. You want it to just happen and you want to think about it. I'm all about you having the efficiency and being efficient, right? Because you got a lot going on. It's not just this, you're doing all the other things. So that might have been a little confusing, but for those of you who are there and you're comparing different email systems and list building systems, this is the way to go. Hands down, absolutely. No hands bar, no holds bar, however you say that. Bottom line though is if you're not there yet, that's fine. I do think lock in that FloDesk deal, but if you're not there yet, it's time to start. I've been nice. I've been soft on you saying, yeah, you need to build your list. Build your list, but I haven't pushed you. I'm ready to push you. You and I don't know what's going to happen with Facebook and Instagram. And one of the big questions that people were asking me this week was, so if we're not on social media, what is our alternative? What is another option for us to grow our network marketing business? I don't think people are going to go backwards. Okay. I don't think we're going to go back to a lot of those hotel meetings because let's be real. Fewer and fewer people were coming to them. More and more, you just saw people from your company and it wasn't like when I moved to California, I remember like, well, the traffic's so bad. I have to invite someone who's within a certain radius, but I lived in Austin. The traffic is bad there too. People have things going on in the evening. They don't all want to come to these events and it's a lot for them to do. And now since we spent a year in hibernation and lockdown, now we're like, why can't we do that virtually? You can call it Zoom fatigue if you like, but at the end of the day, people would much rather do it virtually than have to drive an hour or 30 minutes, or I need someone to take care of the kids, or I got to make sure dinner's set. How many of you have invited people and you're so excited and then they cancel at the last minute? Or how many of you have done I'll drive you because you know that if you don't offer to drive them, they might not show up if they're just going to meet you there. Oh, it's the most frustrating thing. Or how many of you have hosted an event and you get the food or you plan and you reserve the room or you're on that end of it and you end up upside down like you spent more money than you made because nobody showed up. Your priority is not everyone else's priority. We got to remember that. So even if you're like, oh, but it's a great opportunity. Yeah, well, for them, there's other things that are more important. And we respect that. So I don't think it's going to be like, okay, well, we're mad at Facebook. Everyone wants to leave Facebook. Because I feel like that happens every 6 months to a year and we're still here. We've tried other things. People aren't there. They're at Facebook and Instagram. That's where they are. So what's the new alternative? I don't think we're going to go backwards. I don't know what the new thing looks like per se. If you're ready, like in a hot second, you want to get off right now. What I would say to you is then you need to lean into some of the search engine options. Like a Pinterest. You're like, Roxanne, you're telling us to leave social media. I'm not, but if you want to try something, then I would say, look at Pinterest and do it right. Don't think that like hopping on LinkedIn is going to solve all your issues because I don't think that's the case. But even if you do like a LinkedIn or if you do Pinterest, you have to build a funnel. It goes back. Pinterest is all about funneling and knowing keywords and all the things. So the funnel we're talking about right here on Instagram is something you still need to build out to make those other things work. If you want to start a YouTube, that's another search engine. These are all social media adjacent things. A YouTube channel, okay, that works, yes. But building up your base and setting up that strategy is a whole nother barracuda. That's a whole nother Oprah. And it also requires building a funnel. So if you think, okay, I want to do these things, but I want to build a funnel, then I guess my suggestion to you is you got to learn what a funnel is and lean into a funnel now. And the easiest funnel that you could possibly do right now is one on Facebook or Instagram, because that's where you live right now. And it's easier to do things where we live than to move and do it there. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, for sure. Okay. So if you take nothing away from all this, I hope you realize build the list. It's time. Build the list. And if you're like, I have a list, I'm not doing anything with it, then I say get FloDesk, use my code Roxtalks, you'll get not only the challenge, you'll also get not only the 30-day challenge, but you're also going to get my how-to videos, and you're going to lock in $19 a month for life, no matter how much you grow. And you're going to grow. Let's lean into doing that and using that, because that's going to help you in exponentially. And if socialstoriesmembership.com/FloDesk gives you all that information. See how I did that? And I'll put it on the Roxtalks podcast page as well, too. And if you're watching on the video, it's probably down there because my team's amazing. So lean into using it, because you never know when that might be the only thing you have. And even if it's not, even if Instagram or Facebook behave during the holiday season, which I hope they do, you want, just like advertising, you want to be visible to people on different channels and different venues and different places, so that that message gets across more. You're connected more. All right. We'll be right back. Actually, no, we're not going to. Yes, it's time. I'm going to tell you a little surprise. I've been teasing a surprise for you guys for a while, and I'm letting the cat out of the bag. We'll be right back with behind the scenes. Okay, so I've been telling you that I've been working on a little special project. I'm about to tell you what it is, but first I'll tell you, we're recording this on the 6th of October, so 2 days after the Facebook Instagram crash of 2021. This past weekend, I took time off, y'all. It was great. My dad and my sister came into town, and Scott and I, we went with them to the ASU UCLA game in the Rose Bowl, it felt good to go back to the Rose Bowl. It's been a while since we've been at the physical Rose Bowl with everything going on. Had a good time there, and ASU won, Fear the Fork. Then we headed the next day to SoFi Stadium, and we saw the Cardinals, also an Arizona team, play against obviously the Rams. And we won. Go Kyler Murray and JJ Watts. Hey there. And they're the only undefeated team in the NFL right now. How cool is that? The Cardinals. Growing up in Arizona, that's fun to see. So I remember when the Cardinals moved to Arizona from St. Louis. That's how, anyhow. So that was very exciting, and good to see my family, obviously, and see this new stadium, which is beautiful. It was hot. It was hot there. But that was my weekend. I really took some major time off. Baylor was not very happy because she had to stay home, but it happens. And then I know I've teased with you. I've told you that I've been working on a special secret little project. And by the time you hear this podcast, it will either have dropped or it's in the throes of dropping. So I'm going to tell you what it is. So you and I both know there may or may not have been a smaller, big documentary that came out about our industry, may or may not have been called Lula Rich, and from Amazon Prime. And one of the things that as I was watching it and all the things, and saw on a couple of podcasts giving my opinion, expertise on it, I thought, it'd be really good. I would love to sit down and do a podcast about Lula Rich, episode by episode, with other industry people. And so that's what I did. So it's coming out. It's called Lulawhoa. I've been saying that. Lulawhoa. It comes out, or it is out now, where you stream your podcast. So I encourage you to check it out. And I'm so excited to be doing it with the fantastic Megan Summerall. She's my biz bestie, and the equally fantastic Colleen Nichols from No Shame Sales Game. And so we sat down. Don't ask me how I got all three of us in one Zoom room, but I did. And we will go through it piece by piece. If you've not listened to if you've not watched Lula Rich, you can watch it and use this as a little guide as you go through it. Or if you have, I think you'll really enjoy our take on it, our earnest take. As I say in the podcast, we are MLM friendly, obviously, but we are not Pollyanna. And so you're going to get what I think is a real look at it from the inside. So I hope you enjoy that, or from the industry, not the inside, from the industry. I hope you enjoy that and check it out and share it with all that you know. Okay, so that's what I've got for you, Lulawhoa. And by now, yes, the website will be live. You can go to Lulawhoa, LULAWHOA.com and find the podcast, or go wherever you stream it. Okay, because you rock the Casbah. Thank you so much for being you. You are amazing. Get your lists going. If you have some list questions, come talk to me. Funnel questions, come talk to me. If you're like, okay, I think I need to join Social Stories, come talk to me. Message me at Roxtalks on Instagram, or I do have an email. You're like, really, on Instagram, Roxanne? Or you can check me out at Roxanne at roxannewilson.com. But I'd love to have the conversation with you and help you out in any way that you need, because the list thing needs to happen. Bars come and go, but your list, you always own. It's your money, it's your quad, and it's important for you to have access to it at all times. All right. You're not ahead. You're not behind. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Thanks so much for listening to an episode of Roxtalks, and we'll see you next week. Share it with someone that you know. They need to hear it. Take care. Bye.